everyone, I hope you're doing well. Earlier this week, I managed to organise an interview with my friend Ayla, who's in BDS4. She got to tell me all about her time at Harvard Dental School on one of their summer programmes last year. So you can hear all about that again in this re-upload of that live stream and hear from Ayla yourself. Then also, please have a look at the link in the description. There should be 2 documents there. One for a list of all the dental schools that you can apply to for the same sort of opportunity that Ayla went for. And then the second document should be a summary of the whole conversation that I had with Ayla, just to make everything a lot easier, and it's all in one place for you. So there's many fantastic opportunities in dentistry to travel and see the world. So I hope, especially as students, so I hope we can make the most of them and just network, be inspired and create great memories. Thank you for watching this, and thank you to Ayla for being involved. Without further ado, let's go on to the video. Hey Ayla!
Hiya. I can't entirely hear you, but I'm going to kind of semi-guess and put up pieces and guess what you're asking. So basically, I went to Harvard last summer, and I was basically spent 2 weeks with their dental public health team. So it started off by, I was always interested in dental public health, and I think at King's it's something that's not taught particularly well. It's kind of those DPH lectures that no one really goes to and not examined on. So I just kind of felt like it was lacking in our teaching here, and it was something that I'm quite interested in doing. Like I kind of want to go into public health. I want to work for NGOs and stuff when I graduate, hopefully eventually. So I first heard about it. There used to be a girl called actually the Dental Council president the year before Phil. So yeah, I don't know if you know her, but she was really, really nice. So I was telling her about, my sort of goals for dental public health, and then she was telling me about this opportunity that she'd done for her elective, but I didn't do it as my elective, formally as my elective. I just did it because I was interested in it. So I spent 2 days with the dental public health team. I joined like the master's students, so I didn't really want to join undergraduates because I wanted to do something that was beyond our course. And so basically they were just master's students doing the dental public health. So they were all dentists. They'd all actually, when I was there, most of them had even specialised in like peds, restorative, and then it's like another thing we're doing. So it started off, I sent an application, an online application. So the lady there was called Mary Tavares. She's the dean. So I sent her an online application. It's basically a CV and a cover letter. So my cover letter basically said, like, I introduced myself. I said why I'm interested in dental public health, why I'm interested in dental public health at Harvard, and then sort of things that I'd achieved, my skills, and I sent my CV off with that.
Do you mind if I ask? Do you mind if I ask why you're interested in dental public health so much?
I just find it because I think I'm quite interested in working for like charities and big organisations like that, and what they do in dental public health, they kind of teach you how to, when you see, look at demographics and see what they're lacking, and then see what you can do and what's most effective and ways that you can work with them. So, for example, for us, it was 2 weeks. So on Monday was our statistics day. That was like my least favourite day. I really hate statistics.
Right.
So we basically had this whole database, and you had to plug in loads of formulas and work out things, and you had to sort of see trends in populations. So you could discount certain things, account for certain things like smoking, gender, sort of ethnicity, and you work out what trends there are in different populations.
Right.
So you work out who needs most help. In some areas, like care is a bigger problem, some areas oral cancer might be a bigger problem, so it's kind of working all of that out. And then with that information, basically you develop a scheme to sort of improve the public health there. So yeah, that's basically pretty much why I wanted to do it. I just thought it'd be a kind of good footing for where I want my career to go afterwards.
Yeah, so do you think it's quite likely you're going to sort of global leadership in terms of managing populations and...
Yeah, probably not initially. I feel like my plan is, like, as soon as I graduate, I just want to improve those skills. So I just want to get a lot of clinical experience. I don't want to sort of go into something I'm not quite ready for. I want to just make sure my actual dental skills are where they need to be. So that will probably be working at NHS practices for a little while.
Yeah.
And then once I'm kind of comfortable with that and I feel like my skills are at the point I want them to, then I might think about maybe spend a little bit of time working for an NGO, working with someone else, kind of understanding how it works. Kind of mix it up. I think I'm in BDS4 right now, so I don't feel like I haven't even myself learned about all the opportunities out there and how you can go around about these things. So I think it's a lot of like, once I get into the real world, talking to people, going to conferences, learning more about it and working out which direction I want to sort of continue in.
Yeah.
And then obviously everything's different in the real world as well, so you'll see what I actually enjoy.
Are you glad that you had this opportunity when you were finishing BDS3?
Yes, I did end of BDS3. I think that was probably the perfect time to go.
Right.
Because I think end of BDS1 and 2, I think you wouldn't fully grasp all the concepts and you might feel a little bit sort of out of your league there. And even when I was there was a lot to understand. Obviously, I'm with people who've like been practicing dentistry for a long time. They're a lot more, their progression in their career is a lot further than mine. But I think end of third year is a good time. End of fourth year is also a good time. I think with fifth year, you've got so much else going on. For me personally, fourth year for my elective, I kind of wanted to do something more fun with my friends, whereas this was something I really wanted to do in terms of like learning about dental public health. I wanted to take it a little bit more seriously.
Yeah.
And also I wasn't that interested in doing my actual elective in America. It was an amazing opportunity, I think, because especially I've never learned about dental public health in the same way as they have. And there were differences between the UK and America. Obviously our whole like care system, we've got the NHS, everything of theirs is insurance based, pretty much everything.
Yeah.
So different system. But what we also did was we had some days where someone and they'd give it like a scenario, people giving a scenario to like dental Harvard students, and they'd be like, I'm setting up they had one there like, I'm setting up a dental program in Rwanda. We need to work out, like, give us like a base plan of how we should go about it. So then you'd look at the population, you'd look at how many people there were in that town, you'd look at accessibility. So if you've got a lot of people, if the town is the type of town there's no transport, how people can get to your clinic, you have to first consider that, because accessibility is first thing. First you look at demographics, then you look at accessibility, then you look at resources, and obviously normally in these scenarios you don't have that much money. So there was one thing I found really interesting, is that they would put all their post patients in the morning, because they didn't have all their light curing materials they would put out in the sun. So they would make do with a lot less than what we have, and it wasn't like a practice like what we're used to seeing here. It was really basic. So it was kind of working that out and how they would go around about that, and I found that was probably the bit I found so interesting, because it was kind of changing the game. And for Jerry, so we're working about having sort of mobile clinics and the way we can access people and the best route and how it's most effective, problems you'll encounter, which problems you're willing to fix and which ones you're not. You have to work out your priorities of patients as well. So yeah, it was really interesting. I think with America, their system, it is very different. They don't have the NHS. They have something called Medicare and Medicaid, which I think kind of came around during Obama's time.
Right.
And if you earn, it was really low. So I think it's like below $12,000 maybe dollars per year. Then you qualify for Medicaid. But with Medicare and Medicaid, the issue is that they don't have dentists willing to work on Medicare and Medicaid, because everything's a lot more private. They can make a lot more money. So even though a lot of people qualify for it, it's very hard to access free dental care or even discounted dental care. So the system there is really different. Also, in terms of the way they do dentistry is quite different as well, because I think we are a lot more minimally invasive here compared to them.
Oh yeah. They love their veneers.
A lot.
Yeah.
And their veneers, they like to intervene earlier. One thing that they do have, which we don't have here, is they have a very good fluoridation system. So most of the country, I think it's like over 75%, is all fluoridated. And because of that, their caries rates are a lot lower here. And hardly, like in Britain, not much of the country is fluoridated. And I think that shows when you look at the number of patients with caries, considering that access to care is a lot better here, but still there's a lot more care than there is there. I think that's one main thing. We had one scenario where we had this guy, he was the dental head of that state, and he basically kind of talked us through his career path. So he was like, okay, imagine you've got this job, you come into the office, it's your first day, what do you do? And then it was like a really long seminar, but it was one of my favourite bits. He went through his whole career, the decisions he made, and he was like telling us, these are the options, this is the option, and trying to work out what we should do.
It's such a great opportunity. Yeah, because you finally get to sort of think for yourself and assess all the different options, and it comes towards.
He taught us that they were going to spend he spent about 70% of his time working on fluoridating that region, and 30% of it focusing on more local intervention, so building actual sort of dental practices where people can come, people of low socioeconomic backgrounds can come, and then so he said he'd focus on the bigger things because it's about your reach. If you fluoridate the state, you've reached a lot more patients than you have otherwise. So that bit was really interesting as well.
Do you mind if I just go back to the application process, just because I don't want to make sure I miss any questions, because we had quite a lot come through the past 2 days from so many people. So some of them people wanted to what do you think they were looking for when they read your cover letter?
So I think, to be honest, the main thing they want is that you're actually interested in public health.
Does it have to be dental public health, or are there any other masters?
For my application, I messaged the public health dean, so she obviously wanted me to be interested in public health.
Right.
I think you can. While I was there was someone from King's working in the pros department as well. So really tailor it to whatever you're interested in. If you're not interested that much in public health, you can always apply for pros. I think the year that Afi had done it, she told me that she knew someone working in perio. So that person had messaged the perio deans. I think they'd messaged a couple of people, and they'd spent a couple of weeks working in the perio department.
Okay. So the plan is kind of you find your area of interest and then target the dean of that perspective, and then you email them. And then also you said something really interesting when I phoned you earlier this week about have your cover letter in your email.
So I don't know if it's the right way to go about it, but I just thought it probably wouldn't be reading my cover letter if it was sent as an attachment. So I sent my cover letter as an email, and then
CV with no, but I think that makes sense, because a lot of people don't want to click on an extra attachment. So
one thing I think is that they take a while to email back. So if it's been a couple of weeks, even a month, and they haven't gotten back to you, don't feel disheartened. They do take their time to get back to you.
Okay, cool.
And sometimes they're sorting out their own terms and their own template. They can't get back to you until they've sorted their own, they kind of know what's going on with their own program.
Right, absolutely. I suppose they have to prioritise their own students. But then, so you said you applied in October, was it, of 2018?
Yeah, so I was in third year. I think it was around October-ish, yeah.
So kind of when you start, okay, yeah. Would you say it's a good time to apply now?
It might be a little bit too, for the BDS 2s?
2s, 3s, 1s?
I feel like it might be a little, my head's chopped off. I feel like it might be a little bit too early right now, because they kind of sort out their academic year once they're in their academic year.
Right.
And because it's a summer program, I think it's only when their BDS that year starts that they're looking at the summer program of that year.
Okay.
I think that's why they sometimes make you wait a bit longer as well, because you might just end up waiting for too long. Although don't wait too much, because I also had a friend that during my year, when I went, she applied as well, but a couple of months after me. I think she applied in January and she didn't get it. So the week I was there, there were some students from Birmingham there as well, so I think they kind of have a limit of how many people can be there at a time.
Right. Yeah, that's actually really cool. Students from Birmingham Dental School.
Yeah. The people were really nice, and there were 3 people from Birmingham University, and they'd just finished 4th year, and they were going for their actual elective. But yeah, no, it was really nice.
Yeah. Oh, I was just wondering, because there's another question here. Did you get any support or help from anyone in the dental faculty at Guy's? So, anyone who helped with your application at all?
My Not really, to be honest, because I didn't actually feel like I needed it, so I didn't really ask much for it. I'm sure if you do ask for it, they might be more willing to. But I don't think they didn't really give much support in that sense.
Yeah.
They knew I was going.
Yeah. I suppose you could ask for a reference.
Letter from my TV. I'm sure they would have been happy to.
Yeah.
But I just didn't really ask. But it might be worth asking them.
Yeah, or maybe collecting a reference or something from a clinical tutor or someone. I mean, there's always Dr. HOG.
I have my clinical tutor as my reference, actually.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah. And then, so travelling. If you want to tell us about, what was the travel like from home to? Because you went to New York first. So what was that like?
Yeah. So when I was going, I was so basically Harvard on the East Coast. So when I was going, I was like, I'm going to America. It's my summer holiday. I'm going to make a bit of a holiday, do the whole thing. So I decided to go to New York. I spent a week in New York, literally just on holiday. And that was like so much fun, like a nice break, because obviously uni had just finished, so it was my 1 week break before I went back into uni at Harvard.
Yeah.
So I spent a week in New York, and I think a week was plenty for New York. I kind of got round to everything.
Yeah.
I have heard it's a lot nicer in the winter. I wasn't a big fan of New York, if I'm honest. It was nice, but it would be my top destination.
Did you go to all the Friends locations?
But then after New York, sorry?
Did you go to Central Perk and all the Friends locations?
Oh my god, it felt like I was in every movie. It was I'd been when I was quite young, but in a long time. But everywhere I went, I already knew what everything would look like because of films. I think maybe.
Oh, sorry, I think I'm losing.
Food was good, but nothing. I went to a couple of diners, and their food is amazing. Breakfast at a diner, any diner, is just amazing.
Really? Yeah.
And if everyone goes to New York, there's this place called London, and they do the best cookies ever. Literally, I miss it. I wish they had them in London. But yeah, no, so I spent a week in New York, had a really nice holiday, really nice time, and then I went to Boston. So I went using a Greyhound bus, and that took about 3.5 hours.
Oh gosh.
You could train as well, but I was just like, I'd have to get out of the city centre from New York to the airport, and then I'd get to the airport in Boston. So to me, it kind of would end up being more or less the same time by the time you've done the whole I just find a bus a little bit easier, because I went from the centre of New York, really near Madison Square Garden. That's where the bus station was, and you kind of went to the middle of Boston.
Yeah.
So stops on the way, and it's kind of nice. You kind of get to see the rest of the country as you're driving up.
Yeah.
Boston itself is quite nice. I think it had a bit of England vibes.
Oh,
so
right.
It was quite nice. The first week I was there was really, really hot. I'm really lucky in New York I didn't get the extreme heat. The first week of Boston was so hot. And then there's a lot to do in Boston as well. They have something called a Freedom Trail, and that's kind of a walking tour, and you can kind of see all the history behind Boston Tea Party, all of that. They do something called they have whale watching, which I didn't get to do. I really wanted to, but all my days were because you have to go during the day, day hours, and I was always at Harvard.
Yeah.
But if you're making 1 day extra, you should definitely go, because they say there's a 99% chance you'll always see a whale.
Oh,
so I thought that pulled back. It must have been good if I would have gone. I'm sure I would have liked it.
Do you know roughly what the expenses were? So travelling from home to and the bus journey as well.
So my flight, I booked my flight quite late. I actually booked it, I think it was almost a month before my flight out. So it was more expensive than it needed to be. I think it was around £800. But I think if I'd been a bit more organised about it, I think I spent too long. I knew which weeks I'd be in Harvard for, but I spent too long working out, am I going to New York first? Am I not going to New York?
Yeah.
All of that. I think you can get them for £400 or £500. And I looked it up. I don't know if it's still the case now, but then it was cheaper to go to New York than it was to go to Boston. So I had my flight to New York, and I actually flew back to London via New York as well. So from Boston again, I took the bus, and then I came to London via New York. It was just working out significantly cheaper that way.
Yeah.
My bus was, I think it was £40 or something. But again, I didn't book in advance. I booked it of the night before. I was quite last minute with everything. I literally booked it the night before, so I think you can even get that cheaper if you're a bit more organised about it.
Yeah.
So I spent my first week in a hotel, and then on the weekend I went to Canada for a couple of days, like Friday to Sunday, and I just flew for that because I didn't want to waste time like taking a bus. I think the bus was like 10, 11 hours. So I just took a plane, really short flight. I literally made the most of it. I was like,
why not?
I went to Toronto for a couple of days and then came back the night before my second week. And during my second week, I stayed in a hostel in Boston, and I'd recommend that. Like, I think it was nicer being in a hostel than in the hotel, just because there's so many young people there. So you'll meet loads of people. It's really nice. It's a lot more social.
Yeah.
So
although it's nice to have done both, really. Yeah. Because you've seen both.
Yeah, no regrets. I know I've tried them both. But I would recommend the hostel, definitely. I would say Boston is quite expensive. Accommodation in Boston was more expensive than it was in London. My hostel was around £70 per night, and that's quite expensive for a hostel, considering
that's very expensive.
So that was quite expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was fine anyway.
Yeah. So some of the questions were, did you have to book the flights and accommodation yourself? So yes, of course. Although I suppose.
Yeah. So I did ask when I was there about staying at Harvard accommodation.
Yeah.
They said you can only get that if you're there for longer than. At the time, the policy is you had to be there for a minimum of a month to get their accommodation.
Oh, okay.
So like you should. Yeah, they also said to me, if you're finding it very difficult, you can like contact them and they'll try and help me out. But I never did. I just kind of sorted out the hostel. The dental school. So in Boston, most of the Harvard that everyone thinks of, like with the statue and like all the green courtyard, that's quite far from the actual dental school. So that's kind of north of the river. It's in an area called Cambridge, and it's kind of like another campus. It's like having Guy's campus and Strand campus. I'd say it's like the distance is further than the distance between Guy's and Strand, but it's like the same concept.
Yeah. And are they as pretty? Is it as nice as Guy's campus?
It's prettier.
Really? Wow. What's it like then? It's very green.
Both campuses are prettier. The buildings are very grand. It's really, really nice.
Wow.
So the dental school is in this area called Longwood, which is actually quite close to the city centre. When you're travelling there, actually, there's one thing called the Charlie card. So if you get a Charlie card, it's basically like, I think it lasts like for 2 weeks or something, and it just works out cheaper to commute using a Charlie card. So just buy that as soon as you get there. I think you have to buy the card and then you put with money on it. But that's like the cheapest way to get around. I think someone told me about it on my second day, and then I was like, oh my god, I'm so happy they told me, because it would have been so expensive.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, if you do go, definitely get a Charlie card.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at what else we've got here. Actually, I'll check the live stream if that's right, just see what people have to say on there. While I'm loading that up, are you alright? Have you got some water? Because I know. Sorry, I'm asking you a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay, brilliant. We did flight prices. Oh, was there a visa process at all?
So I just got the ESTA. So because you're not getting paid for it, you're not paying for a course either. You don't need to have a student visa because you're kind of like just there observing almost. There was one thing actually. I think I mentioned it to you when I spoke to you earlier. That I went to the Harvard Dental Public Health sort of course, but when I was looking things up, there was also at NYU, New York University, they do a dental program. So that's like a proper fully sort of timetable program. You have a graduation at the end, they give you a scroll and everything. It's a little more costly. I think it's like £5,000 for the course itself, and then obviously on top of that you'd have your living fees. So it's a lot more costly, and you'll do it's very organised. So you'll have like in the morning you'll have a perio seminar, then you'll be working on phantom heads, and you've got restorative. Whereas like with dental public health, most of it's in a classroom because it's more just analysing things and organising things and policy. But yeah, there are other opportunities as well. So I thought I'd just mention that.
Yeah.
for me, I was just more interested in public health. I was like, I'd rather focus 2 weeks learning on something quite specific rather than just doing a broad overview of dentistry just in another country. But I guess if you're more interested in just seeing more things dentistry is like in America, then that's quite interesting to do as well.
Yeah, because is it quite unusual to know your specialty so soon? Because some people don't have a clue yet. That it's like 1 minute it's perio and then it's
to be honest, like a lot of those people that I was there with, they were all like, before you do dental public health, it's worth specialising in whichever area you find most interesting. I like, in terms of like which area of dentistry I find more interesting clinically, I haven't really decided, because I think there are things you like more at uni, but everyone I speak to says that it's really different when you're in the real world. So I don't want to like set my heart on one thing and then like not want to change my mind. So I'm kind of just going to take it one step at a day. And I think you'll naturally just gravitate towards one area more than another.
Yeah. Oh, I just noticed on the live stream, sorry, might throw off a little bit. This question's about application process again, quickly. The person that you emailed specifically, was that able to find online, like just public knowledge, the dean's email?
Yeah, I just picked up the dean of dental public health. I actually emailed someone else as well, Mary Tavares, and there was someone else who worked in that department. But yeah, like Mary Tavares is the person that replied to me.
Oh, okay, brilliant. Yeah, actually, that might be good. I'll write all this down later.
Do it during your time, but if they made us read, they actually emailed me before and they told me to read this book called Teeth by Mary Otto. So it's a kind of a book. It's a good read. It's not that long, and it's kind of about. It's good to read it before as well, because you'll get a little bit of understanding of like how dentistry works in America before you get there. So you kind of get the gist of things before that way. So yeah, I'd say that might be worth, like, you could talk about that in your application if you've done it before.
Yeah.
If you've read it already.
So that was,
I mean, you don't have to.
That was Teeth.
I read it in my application, but like, if you want to be ahead of the game, it might be worth writing about that.
Right, brilliant. And that was a book called Teeth.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It was written by a journalist, so it's a little bit. It's not super scientific, because it kind of has that, you know how journalists put their little spin on it to make it a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
So it has kind of got that element to it, but it was still really interesting. It gives a good overview of dentistry in America and like some of like the really famous cases, things like course policy changes, like I mentioned in that book as well.
So about Harvard then, your experience when you were there, what was your typical day-to-day timetable? You know, how early did you have to get there in the morning, and when did you finish, and lunch and everything like that?
So normally the days would start. I had a couple of half days while I was there. I think I had 1 or 2 half days. Sometimes we'd start. The timings really varied. Like one day I'd start at 8:30. One day I would start at 10. On a half day I'd go in at 1. But most days were full. Like I think in 2 weeks I had 2 half days, and then it just timing. The start of your day varied normally between 8:30 and 10.
Okay.
Lunchtime was normally 1 hour, so most of the time everyone would eat on campus, so you kind of just go to the cafeteria with everyone on the course. Everyone was super, super friendly, so yeah, you just kind of go sit with your course mates, and you'll make friends with them as well. Obviously they're all enrolled in the course, so I made friends with those people. We kind of went for dinner a couple of times in the evenings as well, and then when there were people from Birmingham as well, and they happened to be staying really near my accommodation, so I spent a lot of time with them as well.
Oh, brilliant.
And obviously because they were actually tourists like me as well, we did the whole sightseeing tour as well.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was funny when you said you felt like you made better friends with them than some of the Harvard students.
Yeah, definitely.
But that makes sense, because you guys will want to go around together and explore Boston. Is there a lot to do in the city? What's it like?
Yeah, so the city is nice. It's like, the main thing to do is the Freedom Trail. That's their main, highlight. And you just walk around, and it's kind of like a very if you're into history, you'll love it. I love history, so I really liked it. There's also an area called Beacon Hill, so that's it's quite a residential area, but it's really pretty. I think it's this one street which is like very famous. There's always like Instagrammers there, and it's like all cobbled, and it's really cute, and it literally just looks so cute. It looks like it's from a storybook. And then I do like JFK grew up in Boston, so his house was, during my first week when I was at the hotel, his house was like a 2-minute walk from my hotel.
Oh wow.
So I went to the house, like the house he grew up in, and it's a museum now, so you kind of see where they grew up, through his whole life.
It's definitely a museum now. It's not just
I went to the main Harvard campus as well, so I went from Longwood to just see the main campus, and then while I was there, MIT is right next to Harvard, so I saw MIT as well. So it was really, really nice.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, so evening social. So you said you went for dinner.
I recommend visiting as well. There's a port, and it's just really nice.
Okay, cool. Port as well. About evening social. So you went for dinner and obviously explored the city. Then what were the teachers like? Did you get the opportunity to meet lots of sort of the best teachers in that are leading like the global education of dentistry? Was it?
Yeah. There were so many interesting teachers there. I was really impressed with the guy who was he used to be the state dental public health lead, because it was just really interesting learning about his story and how he kind of got around and got by. Mary Tavares herself is really, really nice. She's really friendly. When I was there, her secretary was kind of like my point of call, so I got introduced to her at the start, and then she told me if you have any trouble, she's the person I go to if I'm ever lost or anything. She gave me loads of recommendations of things to see as well. She's really nice. One day, they do it once a fortnight, so I only went once, but they have like an evening book club with like it's a couple of universities, so we went, it was quite far away. I think we ended up walking, it's like a half-hour walk, and then we kind of met up with all these people from different universities, and they kind of discussed a book, and then there was like a presentation. It was really nice. There was like food there, really nice vibes, and it was at that point that we got to talk to a lot of the tutors as well, in that kind of more relaxed environment.
Okay. And also about if this was to be used as an elective, could you explain to some of the BDS 1s and 2s what an elective is?
So elective, you normally do it. You can do it at the end of BDS 3, but you normally do it at the end of BDS 4. You can even do it at the end of BDS 5, but you normally do it at the end of BDS 4. You can either do it in the UK or you can do it abroad. You basically go. I think it's 10 days. You have to. So 2 weeks, 10 days. You have to you can either observe, work abroad. So a lot of people do it at Guy's as well. So they'll kind of work in different. The Guy's, Max Fax. I'm planning, if coronavirus doesn't get in the way, to do my elective in Thailand this summer.
Oh wow!
So we're looking. You can either go to universities again, like these girls had come to Harvard for their dental public health elective. I've heard of people doing it just at sort of charities, and just kind of giving a bit of dental aid there. It depends which country you go to. So I think if you go to a place. Most places in Europe and most places in America and the US and Canada, they won't let you practice dentistry. I think they're quite strict. So with public health, it didn't feel as bad, like we were just observing, because it wasn't really something where you would practice. It was concepts. But I think when you go to Southeast Asia, you're allowed to be a little bit more hands-on. Get a bit more experience of it. Otherwise, you sometimes just observe. But yeah, it's nice you get to see like another area of dentistry.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, I think one of my friends, Shireen, she's just gained a place at Guy's. She's in BDS 3 and she's doing hers on the research department on floor 27. So she's going to be there for a year. So that's really great for hers.
And actually, also on a side note, I spent a bit of time on floor. I think it was 17 I would go to. I've already forgotten. And I would just go on my white space. I went for a couple of months in their research department. So it's like I didn't want to go to my elective, but I just wanted to learn a bit about it. So that's worth doing as well if anyone's interested.
Okay, floor 17. Okay, fantastic.
I think it's floor 17. I emailed Anna Angelova. I emailed her about it.
Yeah, I love Dr. Anna.
And then she kind of got me in contact with like a master's student and helped me organise it.
Okay, cool. Another question we had about while you were with the Harvard dental students, I mean, they're well known for being really crazily talented, very, very clever. Did you feel like you could keep up with them and they weren't intimidating? And
Yeah, to be honest, considering I was a undergraduate, third year undergraduate, and they were sort of dentists who'd worked for a couple of years as well.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were that far behind. I actually felt like and even they were saying that my knowledge base was, they were like, oh, you guys learn a lot at King's. So I was surprised to hear that, because normally we're always just sort of slating King's.
Yeah.
But no, it was nice to hear that as well.
Well, we're number one in the world, so
I did see their undergraduates doing a bit of work, and I think I realised that their facilities, I'm not gonna lie, their facilities are a lot nicer. Like even their dental school, like dental bays are nicer. Everything's a lot bigger and nicer, like sort of American style. But in terms of the teaching and everything, I think they hardly had any tutors. It wasn't. I actually was quite impressed with King's. Like coming back, I think I appreciate King's a bit more than I did before.
Oh right, wow, that's actually really good to know.
Yeah.
Okay,
and I think one thing, there was like a huge debate. It went on all week between, they were, at the time they were getting quite upset because dental hygienists and therapists were allowed to have more patients, and I think the things they were allowed to do was increasing, and they were getting quite upset about it. And I think they were like, why they had dental assistants who were able to do something. They had dental hygiene and therapists, and they had hygienists, therapists, and assistants or something. And they were like, why are they bringing so much? It's taking away our potential patients. So it was really interesting that they saw it like that, because when I was telling them that, like, in my view, like, I'm very happy to give things to a hygienist because I'm not really that interested in doing a scale and polish when I could do something else.
Yeah.
It's not an efficient use of skills. But I think that's that's where the differences between the schemes we work in really shows, because they were like, no, but even if it's scale and polish, that's money, that's our patient, why would I give it to a hygienist?
Oh wow.
So they were interested in that integrated approach. They were like, even with referrals, they're not that keen on it because to them it's losing business.
Oh my gosh.
So I think their approach to dentistry in terms of that was quite different.
Yeah, like the GDC principles, like work within your ability, and only if you're competent enough to perform something.
Yeah, exactly. So that was quite surprising. Yeah, they were like, work with hygienists or therapists. They're like, we just want to be independent. So the thought of having a hygienist in their practice to them wasn't something they would want, whereas I think for us, most of us would want a hygienist in our practices.
Yeah, absolutely. It really helps the team, doesn't it? So okay. So now we just have some like lighter questions just to kind of round off the interview or talk, really, chat. About what was the most about living, what were some of the most challenging parts of living abroad, being so far away from home and family? Like, how did you cope, and what did you have any like really difficult days, or was it all just sunshine and
I would say for me, I found the transport really difficult at first. It took me a while to get used to it. I think Boston, actually, getting around Boston wasn't too bad because they have like a metro, or like it's more trams, but it's not very developed, so there's not so many lines that you get confused. It's quite easy to get by. In New York, I found transport a little harder. The day I was coming from Boston to New York, and I was going from Boston to the center of New York, and then from there I was trying to get to New York Airport by tube. I found that really difficult. And their subway can be quite confusing at times. That is difficult, but I think because we're used to London Underground, it gets you by enough. One thing is that they hardly have in America subway. There's like no escalators. So that day when I was taking my suitcase, and obviously I'd been there for a while in a massive suitcase, it was really difficult going up and down the stairs, and then I'd like get down to platform, work out that I'm at the wrong platform. That was probably the most difficult part of my whole trip.
Oh my god.
But it wasn't too bad. You can use Ubers there as well.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's very brave of you to go on your own. It's quite amazing, really. But it's very character building, I'm sure.
I was only on my own for like the Boston bit though, so I was not in New York or anything.
Yeah.
So, but it was really nice though, because I think it was my first time being like on my own to that extent, like literally in another country on my own.
Yeah, bloody hell.
My way around very well.
Yeah.
It was a really good experience because aside from like the actual dentistry and learning so much about public health, I learned a lot about sort of taking care of myself, being able to go to places. Even like obviously I spent a lot of time with people at my hostel, people I'd met on my course, but there were those times that I wasn't with anyone. It was just nice to even then just like you kind of gain confidence just going around like taking a tour of the city on your own at points as well.
Yeah.
And I think it was a really good experience actually. I kind of liked in a way that I had that time on my own because I think I feel more confident like if I would ever have to be like on my own to make most of it.
Yeah, you've really lived.
You get more confident as well when you're on your own. You make more of an effort to talk to random people. So like within reason, like you could like even in your hostel, like you don't know the people, you have to be careful. But overall, like if it's like a safe enough thing, it's really nice as well. And not the hostels organised things. I never went to anything organised by my hostel because I kind of just made friends with people that were in my room.
Right.
But little hostels organise days out and stuff as well.
Okay, and then what was your best memory, your best day from it?
So I think, to be honest, like in all honesty, aside from like the fun, I really enjoyed. There were two things actually I really liked. So one night we were by Quincy Market, which is their old market square, and that's kind of like the heart of the city. And in the evening they had like loads of live music. It was really really nice. Like in the evening, like the vibe in that area. I'd recommend going to that area. Also, while you're there in Boston, they're famous for their I think it's like lobster rolls. So have a lobster roll when you're there as well. And you can get them from Quincy Market as well. And then I really enjoyed the afternoon course as well because I think in terms of public health, I'm not too keen on their sort of on some of the way that they like how invasive they are with their dentistry because I think I'm just so used to the way we're taught here, but the way they sort out public health, the way they've kind of got the whole area fluoridated, learning about how in remote areas they go about trying to set up a setting up a sort of dental clinic. That's really really interesting. So that bit I think I learned a lot from that, and that was really really interesting to me.
Would you do it again?
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to go this time, like go with the other years, maybe 1 year. But no, it was really interesting. I'd definitely go again.
Yeah. And obviously, would you recommend this trip to other students?
Yeah, and like I think what I was saying to you on the phone as well was that like this was really good and it is great to go. Like it was amazing to go to Harvard, and for me, dental public health, I was so interested in it that I really enjoyed it, like learning all about it. But if you're sort of on holiday somewhere in Europe and you've got a couple of days to spare, you can always email universities in those cities if you know there's a good dental university, and see if you can join their sort of master's program or something just for 2 weeks, because you can learn a lot. And I think it can help you work out if you actually enjoy something. And I think every country has their own way of teaching something. So in some things, countries might be better, in some things, kings might be worse. But it's really interesting to learn what you can while you're there.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm going to try and put like a list of all English-speaking universities that people could possibly travel to that aren't in the UK. So that'll come out shortly. I'll just go over to Livestream one last time just to check if there's any further questions, and then we'll go and speak to the rest of the people in the group chat who... how do you apply? Do you email the department you're interested in? Do you want to answer that again? Just so that was...
Yeah, so I just emailed the dean I was interested in with my cover letter and CV. So yeah, that's how I applied.
And then how much did the course at Harvard cost, and was there a certificate/graduation?
Yeah, the course at Harvard was completely free. So the course at Harvard was completely free. I can't remember what they said. I think they said that a couple of years ago they'd made it free. It didn't used to be free. It used to cost a couple of £1,000, and they had made it free. So yeah, my costs were literally just living and like flights, living costs, accommodation.
Also, our whole cohort of BDS, we're very multicultural, so those people speak tons of different languages. So I'm sure they could go to different universities from their respective countries. So like, if you're Danish, you could go to the Denmark dental schools, and so there's so many opportunities out there. You might even have family you could stay with to go and do this, so to make it a bit cheaper. But yeah, so that kind of concludes our really lovely Q&A. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for organising it. I hope it helps.
Yeah, I hope it cheers everybody up, because everything's been doom and gloom lately with the whole lockdown life. So I hope this brightens everyone's day and just kind of lets people know that there's a future out there where possibly you can travel to another country and do the amazing things that Ayla's done. Okay, cool. So I'm going to end the call now, but
if anyone has any questions, like specific questions, you can message me as well. I'll try and answer as best as I can.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. And then we'll move over to the other people. All right. Thank you so much for joining the live stream, everybody. Bye.